We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Hump Day Wednesday to everybody out here. We hope your day has been good. Hope that you've been straight. Hope you've been better than great. So we are episode 34 in this bad bay. What the how am I talking? In this bad boy for dang, I'm tongue tied. This unfiltered. Unfiltered. We feeling real good today. Okay, I'll see you, darling. Rule number one: don't interrupt me again. But yeah, we here for episode 34. We got a guest on the show today too. Before we get our guest in, of course, I'm gonna allow the best host in podcast history, in infamy, period. Famous or infamous, however you want to say it. I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get right into it. We got an outstanding topic today. So, let's go. Ladies first, Miss Hills.
Hey, y'all. Hey, fam. How y'all living? How y'all doing? I'm happy to be back. I'm happy for all that we're going to talk about. I hope y'all came ready because y'all know we come with these topics. We come deep. We be ready to be unfiltered. So y'all got to be ready tonight. Be ready. Tap into them comments, y'all. We want to hear from you. Get them 2 cents. Come on, y'all. We got this.
Yo, this your boy UNFILTERED Unfiltered. Continue to share, like, and subscribe. Tuning in, and we have, like, my co-host Miss Hill said, we got some amazing topics. Well, we got an amazing topic that's going to last a while because yeah, please stay tuned.
Put it off.
And I'll go ahead, Randy.
1 2 1 2 1 2. And we always got some kind of technical stuff that end up going on. It's hard pressed. What I am going to do today is I'm going to allow this woman to get on my computer, and I am going to use another source. So it's gonna be real cool. So if y'all got y'all phones, turn it down and all that good stuff, because I'm getting feedback like it ain't nobody's business.
Oh yeah, I got feedback too from some mics.
So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do something I've never done in history before. I'm letting somebody come over here and be on my stuff. I can't believe I'm letting somebody use my stuff.
That's good. Look at you. Come on, girl.
I'm right. So as you could tell, the name change is not it's not an error, a mistake. Gotta do this a different way. But it's all good. It's all good. These topics, we gonna do our thing. Go ahead, go over there. Don't worry about that.
Mr. Reese, y'all had such a good topic last week.
Man, it was fire. Like
y'all better dig in deep, okay? Y'all better go
but
in.
man, if you was here, you'd have went ahead and got on top of that boy and sabotaged it for real. But that's why I'm glad we got this one, because this is a great one that you picked out. And I just to let everybody know, I couldn't even finish the whole thing because I had to stop, take notes, reminisce, stop, take notes, cover that. I was just like, wow. So like I can't wait till we get into this one. What made you pick this topic?
Well, y'all know how I do. I just like to get beyond the surface level of things. If we talking about healing, that's a part of it. You got to go beyond the soft, light hearted talk. You got to really like be honest and real and true. And how I came about this topic was I was watching a podcast from some of my favorite people. I love them. Shout out to the Perrys. And they have 30 Minutes with the Perrys. They have a podcast they do every single week. And I caught the recent one that they did. And when I say it floored me, I was like, oh, I didn't even finish watching it. I was still in the middle of watching it. And I was like, let me send this to my bros so we can talk about this on Unfiltered. And then I continued to watch it. But I was like, oh, we really have to talk about this because so many things start coming up. And I'm like, this is perfect for healing because this is the root of healing. This is where you got to go when you're really trying to heal. Like everybody talk about healing. How do we get to those steps of healing? Like, where do we start? Where do we go? And this right here, though, this is the answer. This is where you go. This is where it starts. This is how you begin to set positive boundaries and intentions and being specific about how you move. That's going to bring about growth and true like impact in your life. It's fire.
Somebody got kicked out there. Somebody got kicked out of their room.
You said, don't be sad. Happy face. Come on.
He do not look happy.
You got it.
My goodness, I cannot believe this. I feel so naked without that. And my kids and everything else like that. It feels so different. But it ain't like we never done this before. So let's try to do this again. Unfiltered. Wednesday. So grateful to be here with the greatest podcast and the greatest host ever. Glad to see you, Mr. Reed. Glad to see you, Miss Hills. Also glad we got another guest, just in case she's sitting there looking beautiful. So I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself. I know she's being very, very specific. Miss Kyra. We tried to get her on the show before, and she was having technical difficulties. So I know at least if she at my screen, it ain't gonna be no technical difficulties. So it's all good.
We'll talk about today though. Shots fired.
Yeah. So Ms. Kyra, why don't you go ahead, tell a couple of people, all our followers and everything, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and get into this topic.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miss Kyra. This is my first time on the show, but I am a long-time follower. So I'm pretty excited to be a part of the show. I'm normally in the background making my own little comments and he telling me to shut up. But now I get to actually be on the show. So I'm excited. So y'all, to tune in. We have some great topics. And let's do this.
Everybody excuse the lighting. I don't look like a snitch or a courtroom witness. This will be fixed next time we get on. One day that I'm able to get on, the lighting is not right. But I'm going to get that fixed. So, yeah. Pardon.
As someone who always has technical difficulties,
doesn't have
issues, today. It's your turn and it's okay. Just know it's okay. You're still going to be great tonight, okay? It's going to be great.
Oh, hey, y'all, it's because of y'all. We're going to make this great. Speaking of great, our wonderful co-host, Miss Hills, brought us an amazing topic that we're going to bring to you today that floored all of us. And we got this, I don't know if we ever like had to take notes. You know, we'll get a second for the topic, but like for this topic, I had to grab the notepad to take notes.
Listen, pages though. Wow.
Bruh,
Okay.
like I was like, I am ready. I told you, I was like, I had to make sure we were going on. Like we were all on here early. Like I'm excited for this topic. So y'all please share it, comment, subscribe. Let's get it.
Okay, listen, we can start with you. Okay, let's present it then. So the topic is guarding your heart. Okay, we want to preface it for marriage, but it's for anybody. If you're single and you're thinking about getting married, if you just want better relationships in general, like this topic is for you to tune into. By the end of this, take some notes for yourself. Okay, we need y'all to tap in because this is about to be an unfiltered conversation, but it's gonna dig deep. We're talking about guarding your heart. We hear it all the time. If you haven't heard it before, if you haven't heard it a lot, it's often said you gotta guard your heart. So let's jump in this. Meg, let's start with you because you got notes on notes on notes. Like, how are you feeling about the topic? Like, what was your first thought about when you heard about guard your heart? There is a podcast video link that I did send out to my bros that they watched. That was kind of prefacing the conversation, and they kind of watched it. Probably didn't get through the whole thing. If you did, great. If not, that's cool too. But like before you even saw the video, you just heard me talk about the topic. Like, what was your thoughts? How was you feeling? What happened?
Now, when you brought it up, like when you said like guarding your heart, I'm like, okay, well, it wasn't. It kind of meant what we were gonna discuss, but it didn't get in. Like, I didn't feel it was gonna be that deep. Like, okay, well, guard your heart because like, all right, anybody who's close to you, they'll try to use you. So kind of, guard your heart. Or like, if you're a given person, or like, somebody who has their heart in their sleeves, or is a people first person, like that kind of thing. But once I saw who it wasn't like Jackie Hill, I was like, oh, this thing gets deep because Jackie Hill is an amazing, like, not only an amazing spokesperson, this woman can rap. She can rap. I have one of her songs on one of my favorites, like she can rap. And her raps get thought provoking and deep. So I knew like once I saw the video and who was on it, I'm like, yeah, like I needed the day before I even watched it. And so like that's just what it took for me. But like I'm just ready to actually talk about like when I actually heard it, because when you told me the topic, I didn't go into it until I actually heard it.
Okay, go ahead. Share your thoughts.
All right, so share my Okay.
Okay, let me start with this.
Talking about the actual topic, right? Or what I
Yeah. Let's start with this. What does it mean to guard your heart to you? Like, you told me what you thought about it at first, but like after you kind of started watching the video, you start hearing the commentary from Jackie Hill Perry and her husband, and them talking from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective. Even they did touch on like pre-marriage, like before they got married and while they're in marriage. So like talk about
that. So to me, like guarding your heart in that perspective is basically guarding it from things that will destroy your marriage or your relationship / bond with God. Like I guess so things that they were going into, like that one hit home to me is that like, okay, well, let's just say that I have a disagreement with my wife about something or something I don't like about her, right? And okay, well, I know other women that will do that thing better. So therefore, I'm tempted to go look at that versus actually everything that my wife does. So I'm looking at temptations like from the worldly perspective versus actually seeing what she brings to the table and how she keeps me, grounded, or like, wow, like, hey, I may like that or every time I see this woman, you know, or the mistress or whoever, she'll cook and clean and, you know, give me all this good conversation. But, you know, that's just the 20%, the 20 or what she's giving you. And doesn't mean that she's not going to give me the same problems that I thought that, you know, my wife would have. And just getting into, I'm sorry, we got to get into it. I was trying to surface talk it and get into it later.
Go deep. That's what I'm saying. So, you got the floor. Okay, so let's start with this. The grass is greener on the other side. That's one of the main things that they kind of talked about when it came to guarding your heart. They were saying how, like, when you're guarding your heart in marriage, let's talk about marriage first. When you're guarding your heart in marriage, a lot of times it looks like you being intentional about not, like you said, not allowing anything to come in to mess up your relationship that you got with your spouse in marriage. That's kind of how they preface it. And then the one thing that stuck out was a lot of times they went towards cheating. How a lot of times in marriages, in the demise of the marriage or the breakdown in the marriage, a lot of times guys or women will cheat. And they're saying usually once they start cheating, the issue wasn't the cheating. The issue started way before the cheating with the thought of the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah,
I don't like that you do this, and I can go get 25 people that'll do exactly what you won't do for me right now. I can just call them up and go get them.
All that service.
Yeah. So it's like with that, the grass is greener on the other side. What do y'all feel about that when it comes to guarding your heart?
And you know the one thing that they said on there that was kind of deep, that we do, that sometimes we don't like something in our partner, right? Like you just said, we look for it in other people and comparing them. So like, let's just say, hey,
right there,
like the greatest example is the movie Temptation with Tyler Perry. If y'all haven't watched it,
wow, yeah.
So like, if let's say my partner is not financially successful as I want them to be, and all of a sudden I'm attracted to this guy who's financially successful, and I'm like, okay, well, wow, I'm attracted to you, or it's like, hey, I would want you to be my husband, or I want my husband to be you, right? And so just looking into that, one, we don't know what that person had to go through to be financially successful, or to even understand like what you're getting from that person, but also ignore what your spouse is giving you. So like in the movie, the guy gave her love, care, you know, he prayed with her, stayed with her. This guy's done everything outside of being rich, outside of being, you know, living everything she wanted to be appear-wise or in the surface. And she looked at this other guy, it's like, well, on the surface, he's everything I want. He has a lot of money. He's good looking. He was real ugly, but he was good, like good looking. You know, so like this is what I want. But underneath, this guy is the opposite of what she needed, and what completely destroyed her. Versus actually, and they talked about patience, and so like actually being patient. But her husband ended up being the man she really wanted at the end. So, let's see. What they say, like sometimes, like if your spouse falls short in the area that we compare others that they excel in, like we'll look at them that way, like that one, and we also look at the bad things and like I said, we don't weigh out the good things compared to the bad things. Like we don't say, well, wow, you know, I know this my husband may not have the drive I want him to have, but hey, he goes to church. Like this person prays, he goes to church. He takes care of our family, takes care of our kids. He morally supports me. But we'll say like, all right, well, man, you know what? He ain't ambitious as far as financially or, you know, appearance wise. So I'll hold those 2 things he gets versus the 10 things he does great. So
you only focus on the negative, and you don't decide, hey, maybe I should look at all the bigger picture. I'm just focusing and locking in on these one thing or these 2 things, and I'm not looking at the full benefit of the person that I'm with.
Right. And also I like that they talked about the trauma. I think actually going into a relationship and or marriage, we have a trauma that we carry with us and expect that person to already have the answers or already have the remedies of the traumas we're going through. And like I said, I've been through it in mine. It's like, okay, well, hey, once I feel like my partner disappoints me, then it's almost a violation. Like, all right, well, hey, I'm going into there knowing that, hey, you should know everything about me because I'm the most vulnerable because I'm with you. You know, like, I think, me and Randy even talked about it once. Like, make sure I got it in my notes. Bam. Marriage is the place where you're the most vulnerable because your partner knows everything about you, and it's the only person that can hurt you in ways that nobody can.
Yep.
Like, it's like, hey, like like anybody can call me a failure. If I hear from Crystal, it's different.
Yeah,
it's definitely different. So I'll let somebody else go. We can go into some other things, but like it's just honestly actually experiencing it opened up a lot of gateways. I'm like, wow, like this is definitely like helpful.
Another way, I think, first of all, you're never supposed to compare your mate to anybody. Never compare your mate to your exes. That's a big no-go. Never compare your mate to other people. I don't care if it's celebrities or anything like that. You're supposed to accept and love your mate for who they are. And if you can't do that, then maybe they're not for you. Or maybe, just maybe, you never healed from past relationships. You got to take time to heal before entering into a new relationship, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself constantly comparing the person, your new person, to all these past people, and they're not them. They're never going to be them.
Yeah,
they're just going to be, all they can be is themselves. And if you can't love them and for what they bring to the table, then you don't need to be with them. Because I feel like you don't need to. It's okay to let go or walk away from something that is not for you. That does not mean that it has to be drama or anything like that. But if it's not for you, that means that it's for somebody else. And it also means that there is somebody else for you.
Yeah.
Don't lose out on your blessings by trying to force a hold on somebody else's blessing.
Yeah. Let's go right there, because we've hit on it a few times, and I think that's one of the main areas that need to be touched on more, about past traumas in previous relationships and how it shows up in your new relationship. Because like Max said, your spouse or your partner could say something and they're not coming at you crazy, they're not wounding you, but it's hitting on a wound from one of your past relationships that you never dealt with. So you start to lash out and take it out on that new person that you're with, and it ain't even got nothing to do with them. It's about you not dealing with your mommy issues or your daddy issues, the hurt or being abandoned, the rejection from them, the abuse from them, the lack of neglect from them, where they're not giving you the love that you wanted, or they're not giving you the support that you needed. So at the moment that your spouse, your wife, your husband, they say one thing that kind of resembles that, or they do one thing that triggers that, now all of a sudden you're like, you're the enemy, you're a problem. I don't like this, and you get stuck right there. So let's go deeper into that. Let's dive into that. How many, like, if we can just give one example, if it's happened, of you in your new relationship and you've actually like recognized that you were lashing out on your spouse that you're with, or somebody you're just talking to, and you're like, this is coming from someplace deeper. This is coming from somewhere else. And it's not necessarily this person that's causing these problems.
You want to go first, Ms. Kyra, or you want me to?
Can you reiterate on, maybe I misunderstood the question.
Okay, so like, have you had a moment in your new relationship or a past relationship where you recognize that I'm taking out on this person what my previous person did to me? This person hurt me in this kind of ways, or this person used to talk crazy to me. So as soon as the person I'm with tone get a little extra, I'm on defense. I'm on guard. I'm about to cuss you out. I'm about to go at you. Are you taking out what the past person did on the new person?
Now, see, that goes back to, and I can honestly say, no, not with my new relationship. Now, in the past, yes, I've done that before. with my new relationship, no, because I understand the importance of healing. And it was my man who, who actually opened my eyes up to, look, we got to heal first. We got some healing to do before we take that next step.
Good.
It was, and me just following his lead as him being the man, and me respecting him and respecting his opinion because he was right. It's a matter of just taking things slow and taking care of self first, because you're not going to be able to be any good to anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. That includes healing first before you go into another relationship. I was not, I allowed myself to heal after getting out of something terrible, however long that may take, because what I did not want was to carry over any baggage from my past relationships into my new relationship to a man that is an outstanding man to me. I don't ever want to make him feel like he's not good enough, or he has to do extra, or he has to be like my past, because obviously the past didn't work. So obviously I'm not looking for somebody that's like my past. I don't want somebody that's like my past. So I was fortunate enough to have a man that understands all of that, and and also wanted to protect my heart because he knew what I had been through. I also fortunate enough to have a man that is a man of God, just as I am a woman of God. So I understood where he was coming from. We didn't give room for either of us to bring past issues into what we have. We allowed each other to heal. We helped each other heal, and we went from there. But to say if I've ever, in the past, yeah, I found myself comparing, like, oh man, I don't like how you do this. My ex used to do this, or dang, my ex used to do this for me. Why I gotta ask you? I didn't have to ask him to do this, that, and the other. He just did it. Why you don't, that turned out bad, because it made the man feel like, well, dang, the stuff that I am doing, you obviously don't even realize it or recognize it or care about it, or you don't care about what I bring to the table. It's almost like you're trying to turn me into him.
Exactly. And it's like you don't see the growth in him. Or like, well, hey, if you do have a problem with it, and it's like, all right, I'm changing it, I'm fixing it, but you don't acknowledge that I'm changing it. You just want me to do stuff the way you want me to do without seeing what I'm actually bringing. Yo. Yo.
Can everybody hear? Hope we
Yeah, I can
are
hear
able
you.
to be heard. Okay, good. Technical difficulties, but we still going. So, okay, to talk about what Ms. Kyra was saying, I think that's really interesting that we don't look at it in that way until we get to a place of healing. When we're in it, when we're going through it, we don't see that as bad where we comparing our ex to the new person we with or the past relationship, even friendships. Like my old best friend used to be like this. You ain't doing none of that. I don't know if you could be on that level of them. And I think that that's good that we're able to recognize that now in the place that we're at, because so many people are still not acknowledging or recognizing that they do a lot of comparing one thing to the next, one person to the next, one relationship to the next. And that's not a good thing because it doesn't help you. It doesn't serve you in any kind of way. It leaves you in a place where you feel unfulfilled. You feel unsatisfied. You feel like I'm not happy or content with what I have right now. And whenever you have that not feeling, the feeling of not being content, you're always going to be searching or seeking or looking everywhere else. You're not going to feel fulfilled. You're not going to feel like I'm good. Everything is good. I'm good. So do you have anything, Mac?
Yeah, honestly, just
any like past situations, like even with your marriage, like
I think and this recently just happened. It was a fight, and what we do sometimes is like, even on both parties, when we're not in a process of healing, we don't look at what we've done or what we've done, what we've done wrong or how we make things happen. We look at what our spouse did or how they reacted to it. So therefore, once we don't like it, I can say, hey, I reacted because you did this, right? So it was a situation where I did something that I'll mean, let's say, hey, I was wrong, but my spouse ended up what Crystal do? She called me out for it, and I didn't like it. And to me, how I felt, I was like, well, I felt like you didn't defend me, so, or you didn't have my back. And so how I interpret certain things, like right or wrong, you have my back. And this one I was wrong, but I expected you to agree or support the decision that I made. So I think, well, hey, I'm not wrong, and I didn't, I'm your husband. You have my back wrong or right. I'm gonna have your back wrong or right.
Mm.
So, which she felt was like, well, no, you were wrong. I'm gonna call you out on it, and I didn't like it, and so it started a big fight, and like I said, even though I was wrong about the situation, I still felt like, well, hey, you were wrong because you're supposed to have my back. And at the end of the day, how we kind of got over there, I never looked and saw what I did wrong. And I was like, wow, well, hey, after, like you said, just being patient, just looking at what I did, I was like, wow, if I'm the reason that this happened, and if anybody's going to call me out, and, like I said, we both, I was able to tell her how I felt about the things and why I reacted, and she told me what I did wrong, and that's why she, said what she said. And what I never looked at, and somebody on this podcast told me, because I, talked with him personally about the situation, and he was like, you could look at it where like, hey, she didn't have to support you on this. You're wrong. She didn't support you on this. But you got to look at how many times, or with countless times, I always had my back. And I never looked at it that way. And I'm like, wow, like, if anybody's going to hold me accountable, it should be her.
Yes.
So, like, and what they also taught me was like, man, hey, I got to go ahead and see what I did, see how this happened, or how I even got here in the first place. So, that was just a learning experience, like just understanding, like, hey, I'm not gonna do everything right. And sometimes when people do things, it's not for the intent to actually, hey, make you look bad or to harm you, but to hold you accountable. Especially like I said, hey, I felt like for this particular thing, I was wrong. Still, hey, correct me in the house. Don't correct me like
that part.
yeah, it's like
That part.
So I just felt like what, hey, when we had to, like you said, heal from certain things, and like when that happened with me and her, I was I did deal with abandonment issues, and with but that had nothing to do with that. I think that situation, I'm like, hey, better or worse, right or wrong. The Bible didn't say right or wrong. It said for sickness and health, for better or for worse. And I was like, okay, well, hey, no matter what I do, you're gonna go ahead and support me. Or you're gonna go ahead and agree with me.
Yeah.
And I got that. I think what we have to do in a relationship is morally, spiritually hold each other accountable, as well as we will go ahead and support each other.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Yes.
looking into that, we have to correct ourselves and have patience. And just to throw a small part from the podcast, she said, and what she was saying, like the devil has patience, and when that part stuck out, because as we may want things to happen in our marriage or in our relationship, like, okay, well, hey, I want this person to elevate financially now. I want this person to be more sexual now. I want this person to be more intimate now. And we don't look at what it takes for somebody to evolve or to mature in ways that's going to keep us spiritually, physically connected. And but the devil has time to see, hey, oh, I know you like this kind of person, or when you upset, you like to, watch porn, or go to strip club, or go to the casino, or you like to eat all the time. So once we get in that place, we're like, hey, when you get upset so much, hey, I want to go to the strip club. It gets you in a place where I want to go to a club or a strip club, or watch porn or whatever. Then once we're in the situation and it happens, and it's like not guarding our hearts will put us in places where we shouldn't be if we weren't in a predicament to want to be hurt. Like, hey, if my partner hurt me, I want to feel better about looking at other women. So what I do, go to the strip club. And my partner does something that makes me upset, as far as like in ways that I feel like I want to go ahead and just get them back or feel better physically. I do things that's not right spiritually, or things that I'll do to jeopardize that relationship.
Yeah. I think it's extremely important to be honest with yourself and your mate. Because is it like you said, it doesn't mean, oh, well, agree with everything that I say, have my back even when I'm wrong. No, what it means is have the grace enough to have that person's back or support that person in the public, but behind closed doors, you're supposed to be able to let your mate know, like, hey, you was wrong. You could have did this, or you could have did this better, or whatever like that. But never throw your mate under the bus. You're always supposed to have your mate's back, even when, and part of having your mate's back is letting them know when they're wrong. But behind closed doors, not in front of the public, not in front of everybody, not dogging them out and things like that. Me and Randy and I have a good understanding with that one. If he do something that I don't like, first of all, he gonna know, just because we know each other, and if I just by a certain look, he gonna already be like, oh, okay. But I'm gonna wait until we get behind closed doors. I'm like, look, I ain't like this, that, no. We're gonna have a conversation about it, a mature conversation about it, though, because it don't have to go into an argument or things like that, because you're supposed to be able to be honest with your mate. You're supposed to be able to be honest with yourself. A lot of times we know we're wrong when we doing it. We know we're wrong when we're in the action. When we say what we say, we know we're wrong. Mm-hmm. But you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be able to be honest with your mate, and you have to do it with grace. You have to do it with humility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do everything in love.
Yeah, I agree. And I believe that a lot of people, they are not knowingly, okay, so how you say don't dog somebody in public. Some people have not been taught, hey, let's go behind and make it a private thing instead of broadcasting it. Because people be quick to go to Facebook.
Man.
Whole status, everything run down. People be like, da-da-da. Like, they quick with it. And but see, that's the thing. To them, they feel like I am releasing, I'm getting this out. I'm about to get this off my chest, whatever. Not understanding that the better way to handle it is to go talk to that person. You mad at them, yeah. But if you are with somebody, you should be able, like you said, to be honest, and you should be able to, even when you mad, bring that to them. Y'all may need to cool down for a minute, especially in marriage. You go over here, I go over here. We gonna chill, breathe, woosah, whatever you need to call it. And then we're going to come back together and we're going to talk about it and address it when we both are in the right space to talk about it.
Yep.
But you can't be dogmatic and be like, I want to talk about it right now, so let's talk about it. You can't force them to talk about it if they're not ready to talk about it, because the conversation is going to turn into an argument. It's going to turn into something that's not good. And you don't want that. You don't want it to lead into something worse. And I feel like that's, again, how people are getting outside of guarding their heart, because people think guarding your heart is putting up a wall. I'm going to put up this wall. You can only get so far. I don't want you to hurt me. I don't want to be hurt like I've been hurt in the past. So you can only come so close to me. I'm going to only let you know so much. I'm going to only go so deep with you. But that ain't really what guarding your heart is. Guarding your heart is exactly what we're talking about. Becoming more self-aware of yourself and whoever you're with to know, okay, we've had enough conversations, or we need to start having some deeper conversations to address the things that I don't like. You can't always talk about the stuff that y'all like. Y'all got to address the things that you don't like before it's an issue. Coming into it, like what we talked about, healing from your past relationships. That's very important. Not, I got into a relationship with somebody else so I can get over the last person. No, you take the time to see what went right, what didn't go right. What attracted you to that person? Is that the same type of person you're always attracted to? Is there a pattern in that with you and whoever you getting with? Are they all the same type of person? And then you just go from there, because that will help you understand, okay, whatever the bad things are, whatever the things that I'm constantly doing over and over again, I need to fix that. I need to work on that. I need to put some attention on that. Even with, honestly, people don't want to be lonely. That's another reason why people just want to be quick to jump into a relationship, or they can never be by themselves. You need to be okay with being in a relationship with you first. Be okay with being with you, because that's what's going to help you get to the next place where you have better relationships, because you understand you and you can bring yourself to this relationship and not the expectation of the other person, not them changing you into what they want you to be, but you being able to communicate and articulate, hey, this is me. This is how I'm set up. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I'm willing to accept and tolerate. And this is what I'm not. These are the deal breakers. Usually when you date, that's what you're supposed to have. But a lot of people, they just go straight into physical. You cute, I like you, let's get busy. And that messes up a lot of different things, because now you ain't took the time to properly have the right communication before you got physical. Now, anything that they do is going to be overshadowed by the physical. Oh, well, they good in bed. They got money. They got cars. They got clothes. They'll pay this. They'll spend money on me. They'll cash out. It doesn't turn into the things that really matter, that at the end of the relationship, you heartbroken about. Mm-hmm. You were heartbroken about the money and the cars and the clothes. You was heartbroken about the things that are deeper, them feelings and emotions, when they lied to you, when they cheated on you, when they betrayed you, when you felt like they should be able to be honest and they wasn't. That's the part that really matters. So I think that when we start to look at guarding our heart, like we already said, we got to start with us first. Look at you. Look at what you've done in the past. Look at especially when you've done wrong. Like Max said, that's the hardest thing. We don't want to admit we wrong. We want to win and we want to hold on and go down with the ship. We like, no, I will argue that I know I'm wrong as two left shoes, but I'm going to argue you down because I don't want you to get the last word and I don't want you to be right over me, even though I know you're right. I don't want to admit that. So we start dealing with that. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I was saying what people do is like they focus on winning the argument versus actually healing and learning from one another.
Yes.
Like I'd rather win knowing that I'm right versus like, hey, you know what? Maybe I could have did this. Or maybe if this would have happened that I would have understood you or you understand me. But yet it's about sometimes winning the argument. But hey, that doesn't save a marriage. Winning an argument does not save a marriage. I'm gonna repeat that again. Winning a fight or argument does not save your marriage. It makes the person envious. What else it makes? It makes them feel like they're not wanted. It makes them feel like they're not right or valued. It makes them feel like they're always to be on defense. They always have to feel like it's a fight or a competition, like we talked about in our episodes in the marriage. Versus like, all right, hey, whether I'm right or wrong, I want to learn and grow from this. Now, well, hey,
and that's a difference. You got to look at it for wanting to grow together.
Yes.
Instead of competing against each other and just existing. You're not getting married or getting into a serious relationship to be just like roommates. We just do everything together and we hang out and that's it. No, you got to take it deeper than that. You really got to do the work. Like you said, you got to have grace. You have to give that person grace. When you're growing together, you have to give them grace. You have to be like, okay, I've already went through this. I came through this. I'm matured in this area. You are not there matured yet. So I got to wait on you or have grace and patience with you while you're growing in this area. And then in other areas that I may not be there yet, you got to have that same patience and grace with me as I'm growing in this area so that we can grow together. But if we're always taking the easy way out, which is giving into that temptation of, oh, okay, well, I ain't got to be here. We can just get a divorce. We can just leave. I can go be with somebody else. That's the easy cop out because when you get with that next person, it ain't going to be rainbows and butterflies. It's going to be cool probably for a while, but that same issue that you had with the past person is going to pop up again.
Yep.
It's going to follow you because it ain't got nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with you not being able to properly communicate what you like and what you don't like. Even just healing, like we said, the whole point of this whole conversation is about healing. We can't be broken and think we're going to get in a healed relationship. We're going to be broken until we decide we want to heal and do the work to be whole and well again. And that temptation is real. Like, you have to know yourself. That's why we're talking about guarding your heart, because that's how most relationships end. It takes that one moment where you like, I'm going to entertain this. I'm going to give into this. I'm going to just flirt with this a little bit. And then it just opens up so much more because you start to like it more and more and more. And like Max said earlier, you start to believe that it's better than what you really got. You only start looking at the negative things about the person you with. And it may be 2 negative things, but it's like 100 positive things. But you only looking at them 2 negative things now. You don't even see the positive no more. You don't even see the good no more. You only see that temptation that you want, them desires that you want to fulfill, them fantasies that you want to live out. And then you stop appreciating and valuing the real good thing that you actually have. And I feel like that's what we need to start doing better at, understanding the importance and the value of guarding your heart. Taking that time to do inventory on yourself. Like, where am I messing up at? Where can I do better? And not being so negative. It ain't negative. It's positive because you're working on your weak area so that you can be strong all the way around. That's the part that is important. Like, Kaya, when you was talking earlier, I love that because you were able to give two perspectives. You was able to talk about in your past how you used to be in relationships, and then once you were healed, how your relationship starts to look different.
Yes.
And I also like how you allowed somebody else to give them a chance to actually get to know, like, hey, this is where we got to heal at, or this is what I struggle with, what you struggle with, so we can go ahead and grow and go together. And by the way, y'all look good together sharing one screen.
Okay, that part.
Randy just wanted his own spot. Look at it. Y'all look so good together. Look at that.
Thank you, Kylie.
Yeah, no, I definitely like how you were saying, like, well, hey, you know what? Like, these are the things that I did in my past relationships that people didn't like, and now that I saw what I did was wrong, bringing my past trauma to a different relationship is only going to go ahead and crush that one. Now,
destroy it.
I had to my past ones, now recognizing it into a new relationship, like, hey, well, this person hasn't cheated, this person hasn't, abused me or did whatever, so I can't put that same bearing or that same gate up to them because they haven't done anything.
Exactly. Haven't done anything but love me the right way.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Mr. Perfect.
No,
you so perfect, you gotta share a screen, huh?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't stop all that feedback. I was like, okay, this that keep going on. I've been listening and kind of taking, like jotting little notes down, but taking more mental notes. Because everything that y'all been saying has been it's been really good. It's more than really good. It's like it's a lot of revelation that that's going into everything that y'all saying. So I'm kind of just sitting back like in awe of everything that I'm hearing from all three. But I think it's just the whole term itself. You know what I'm saying? After listening to all three, the term itself, the word that keeps sticking out to me is guard. And we got guards for everything. First of all, you guard something because it's precious. You got guards that you got people that take security over money. You got people that get paid $20 an hour to watch $20 million. You got people that guard over the president because they say this president is very important. So guard over him, even if it means your life. And it's amazing that precious thing that we got that beat inside this chest that never stopped working, because if it don't stop working, we did. It's as I sitting there, even like just from the marriage standpoint, because you have on here, you got 4 people who are either still married or have been married before and things of that nature. So what happens is I'm sorry. Well, I'm about to say today been crazy. Today's been crazy over here, Miles. But I think when it comes to doggone it.
You was talking about guarding your heart and how we've been married.
Dang, man.
You want to protect something because it's
lost that thought.
You
go get it.
Dang. What I could say. Okay, there we go. You know what? All else fail, go to the word.
They're gonna never lead you wrong.
Proverbs 4:23 says, "Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the springs of life." Okay. Don't be talking while I'm talking, man.
I muttered. No one heard me.
Don't be muttering. Don't be doing that. You'll throw me off.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Threw me completely off. I'm like, am I hearing myself twice? But yeah. I'm gonna keep listening. Because I feel like if I'm talking and I gotta try to force something out, that means I really don't, I'm trying to get my own opinion out. And sometimes you gotta learn that the best way to help people is by shutting up. So I'm gonna sit back for a minute and I'm gonna allow y'all to keep talking because y'all was doing a good job. So that's what I would just say in regards to the heart of the matter is that just, as a word say, you gotta be careful because out of, coming from your heart, that's where everything flows in life. Everything that you care about the most, you got to guard over it, and not just your marriage and every relationship and everything in your thoughts and all the processes and things of that nature. You get for myself, and this is selfish, but it took me a long time to be selfish when it comes to Randy Johnson. And what I mean by be selfish is that for myself, it's not about nobody else. The only one I put above me is God, because if I'm not right, nobody else gonna be right. At least that's gonna be in my life. I gotta be the one that's taken care of, because first of all, the biggest misconception that I had in my life is that I'm taking care of people. I'm not taking care of a damn thing. Through me, God is taking care of the people I love the most.
That part.
Because I get irritated quickly. I get tired. I get offended. I get upset. It's like the characteristics that you should be using I in is the ones we don't want to use I in. We love saying I when it comes to the successes, but we don't like saying I when it comes to failures. And
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Because we just don't. Nobody want to say that. It's I. Like, I did this. I did that. But if it's everybody else, we want to pass the buck. And I had to get to that point to be selfish because I realized how filthy I was.
Wow. That right there?
This that part, and you know what I'm saying? As we say, that part is, I think, the one thing that when it comes to guarding your heart, that and I like the Perry, shout out to the Perrys, that I like about a lot of their broadcasters. Do I agree with everything they say? No. But I like a lot of the things that they say, and I think I like the intent of what they come with. But that's with everybody. I believe that when I realized that I was filthy, I couldn't pay attention to how clean everybody else was. So, where in relationships you look at, and we do this all the time. I mean, Mac brought it up clear, and I thank you, man, for being so transparent, because it's not easy to be transparent, especially when it don't put you in a good light to some people. And he was just transparent about things that's going on in his relationship.
And honesty.
And honesty. And we talked last week, we talked about this. We said, you got to be, if you're going to be honest, you better make sure the person you straight up honest with is yourself.
But that's being vulnerable. People don't want to be vulnerable.
You know why? But you know why people don't want to be vulnerable? Because, man, there's nothing that hurts more than someone you give the opportunity to break your heart and they actually do it.
Trust them not to. They do.
Yep.
It's gut wrenching. I can't put a finer tune on it. It's gut wrenching.
Hey, cuz, can I comment on what you said earlier?
Yes, sir.
So look, and even when people say we're talking about being vulnerable, and it's coming from a place, I can tell you, and we talked about on the podcast. Now, it's not saying personal information because it was said on the podcast, but I remember you was talking about, Uncle Randy and the things that he's done to you to kind of that affects your relationship with people and even women. You know what I mean? So it's like actually admitting that and dealing with that and knowing it happened to you, especially for somebody else that you trust. So like to have your father, somebody that you supposedly supposed to trust and have, like, not saying like abusive physically, but as far as like emotionally, like I'm vulnerable, you're supposed to be my dad. And like I said, even the same with me, because I was supposed to be my fathers. And like to see how other fathers are, to give that love, that care, that patience, and that, just that companionship. And if I can't get that from you, the person that created me, Randy Johnson, the same thing from Mac Reese to Mac Reese, you created me. And if you can't give me a bond that a father and son should have with love or whatever, how can I expect a total stranger to give it to me? And now that I give this stranger my vulnerability, it's like, all right, well, I got to kind of withdraw, take that back, because my own father can do it. You can do it. Because he don't want nothing from me. You do. So the second I'll give you what you want, you just going to leave. Or you just going to abuse me in a way. I'm like, okay, well, I got to heal up and stitch up from an abuse or from a trauma that I don't want to deal with. And now I got to open it back up and give it to you, knowing that you can, like, we all change, men, women, anybody in a relationship. So now that once you change or I discover who you are, you discover who I am, you can go ahead and just, all right, well, I leave or I do whatever. Or even like, what's even said now is like, once men show their vulnerability, it can be weaponized or used as a weakness. Just like Charles, like Charles said,
It's
That's
men
or women though.
Yeah, like
that's the point.
Once I saw that, that's exactly how it feels. It's like, bro, like that could be used to get you. Now it's like now that's when somebody becomes a hoe. Now it's when somebody can become vindictive or evil or cold-hearted. It's like, what do I need to love for? That's why people don't want to heal, because we got to deal with that vulnerability and that hurt all over again. And that's probably with one relationship.
And that fear of thinking it's going to repeat itself with the next person.
Exactly. So
people, it's funny, man. Y'all got me over here just thinking and it's going back into it. It's a whole bunch of thoughts that pop into my head while you were just saying that. I thought about the fact that me and you are both juniors, and it's ironic that we're the namesake of the people who hurt us the most. Give me a second. But what makes that ironic, because you hear throughout history, woo, God, thank you. People want to be healed. This is a fact. The problem is when you've been so buried and suffocated in pain, when that's all you've tasted in your life. And when you think that when you meet someone else, You go to a different restaurant, you experience a different chef, and they serve you what they tell you is healing, and you eat it, and it still tastes like pain. You just get tired of trying.
Yes, sir.
You just, it ain't no other way to say it. You get tired of trying. I remember trying to be there with my dad and sit there and show my love for him, and then they just took that one last opportunity. I'm like, I'm done because I ain't never did nothing to you, man.
Exactly. And
I'm not about to do nothing. Dude,
like,
I'm nobody in your past. I'm not your stepfather who abused you. I ain't nobody that did anything to you. Matter of fact, I might be the one who's showing you the most love, and you do this to me.
Yep.
And
like
it's like crazy. It's like what you said, because with me, and like I said, when I realized that I was filthy, some people are like, dang, man, that's a horrible thing about yourself. That's not saying nothing horrible about myself. That's saying some honesty about myself. It means that I have some corrosion in my life that needs to be eliminated. I have mold residue in my spirit that needs to be clean. Bottom line, this temple that I have needs to be a total rehab.
Yeah.
And people scared of rehab. People fear rehab because you think in rehab that all of it being teared down. Anybody that's ever been in a house where you had to do rehab to a house, and we got a saying, it's called, man, take it to the bare bones, which means rip everything out, drywall, electrical, plumbing, take it down to the bare bones, the bare everything. We are starting over from scratch. People don't like starting over from scratch because even though it's painful things that they'll lose, those painful things have been friends for years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to keep a hold of it. Like, if all you've known is pain all this year,
you're
familiar with, right? All of a sudden you talking about get rid of it, man. That pain has been the one thing that's kept me from being lonely, even though it's making me miserable. It's the one thing that showed me attention is the pain. And that's why it's relative in society. That's why we have to really be careful. I love this topic. We have to be careful about what we let into our bodies, what we let into our hearts. You know, like to say with the word, say God said, let the word be embedded upon your heart. That's why we got to be careful about what we listen to and take in. I sat here and listened to Lizzo album as I was cutting the grass today. Very talented young lady. But in the same juncture, this woman has been completely hurt in her life. And it screams across her songs. Because every song is just about the same. It's her trying to self-encourage herself, but then go back, self-encourage back, stay there a minute, back. And then it seems like to be repetitive. And that's what happened. If you think about all the music that is most popular, artists who resonate the most with people, it's songs of pain.
Yep.
Just think about it. You got a Mary J. Blige. It's the painful songs that people remember.
Yep.
You got Marvin Gaye. All these songs, everything else, because people resonate with pain. And I love the fact that you said this guarding your heart is so important. Because we just figured out that life, that's where life comes from. That's why it's such a attack. That's why people say heartbreak, heartache. Man, that person, my heart. You know?
Do we even notice, like, when we have a heartbreak or go through something like that, what's the first thing you run to? A heartbreak song or a heartbreak movie or anything that's like, all right, this is how I feel. So this is what you enter in and you get that bitterness that you know, we don't look for healing or why it happened or go to church. We run straight to those things. Like I said, it doesn't make us feel alone. All right, this happened to this person, so I don't feel alone.
Right.
We went to that bad girlfriend or that the fellas that's like, all right, well, let's just do this. You know, like we look to heal for, we look to console it. So therefore, whatever we do, we have an
Dang.
excuse on why we do it.
Dang.
Wow, come on.
That's powerful right there. You heard what he said, Fifi? I know I ain't the only one that just heard this dude just say it. He said we try to console
the pain.
The pain.
Yeah.
Make it comfortable. Stay a while.
Make you hear. Like, oh man, I'm feeling bad. Hold on. I got something that's gonna help me continue to remember this feeling. Think about that. Woo! That's some deep stuff. There's people that know when their mom about to break up with a boyfriend by the song she play.
Yeah.
There's some people that put on the song. They're like, man, I need something. I remember the weirdest thing that I just thought about this. I had we ain't a friend no more. But he said one time he wanted to fight this guy, and we were playing basketball. He's all a big group. And he said, hey man, hey y'all, man, I need y'all to get me hyped up so I'll fight this guy. And I remember looking him dead in his face. And the reason why we ain't a friend no more, excuse my language, I've been really good with not cussing and everything else, but this is the best way to describe him. He a pussy. And I told him, I said, if I got to get you geeked up to even have the notion to fight somebody, bruh, you don't want to fight.
That part.
You don't want to do it. Why you need me to geek you up to fight? First of all, I'm not geeking nobody up to fight nobody. If anything, I'm trying to get you to calm down, to chill out for a moment. Like, hey man, chill out. Let's don't worry about it. You know, it ain't nothing that deep. And the messed up part is that they did geeked up, and then finally I just stopped. I'm like, man, this don't make sense. And he ended up fighting the guy, and he got his behind whipped. So I'm like, you made yourself even more stupid because I'm trying to talk sense to you. I'm like, look, I know this guy. This guy can fight, man. I know you. You can't.
You can't.
So you don't want to mess with this guy. He don't want to fight you. And then you want to fight over a girl. And I'm going to tell you the ironic part about this. Guarding your heart. And they fighting over a girl that guy didn't care about. He just wanted to sleep with. But he cared about, he wanted to be with her, that he stole from one of his homeboys who currently was walking down the street with another dude.
Wow.
I'm like, Not to mention the fact that we 18 and 17 years old, we still in high school, and you, Mary, ain't gonna never see this girl again a day in your life. You're not about to marry her and make her your wife. But you wanted to fight this guy over that. This guy could care less about it. He wouldn't even think about it. He didn't even know nothing about the relationship, because you want to know why? She didn't tell you. You didn't check her. Because you didn't guard your heart. She had a good hold of your heart.
But that, can I touch on something real quick?
Yeah, I need to say something after that.
I think part of guarding your heart is allowing yourself to feel the pain. That does not mean dwell in it and lay there in it. That means don't forget what it felt like. Because once you heal, you don't want to go back to, you want to remember what that looks like. So that when it comes across again, you remember what it felt like. That's like, burning yourself. That's like, putting your hand in the fire. You ain't got to leave it there too long. You don't want to dwell and leave your hand there for too long, because then it's going to burn off and it's going to be dust. And it's going to hurt very, 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 very badly. But if you burn yourself, you're going to have that burn for, let's say, about a couple weeks. And every day it's going to heal. As long as you take care of it and you don't keep going back, putting your hand in the fire, every day it's going to heal. It's going to heal. Well, one day it's going to heal completely. But the next time you see some fire, you're going to remember, like, nope, I remember what that felt like to put my hand. Let me guard something. Let me put on an oven mitt. Let me put on, something to guard my skin from this fire, because I remember what that felt like when I touched that. Yeah. And I don't want to do that again.
I agree with you. I agree with that.
So,
and I think also, go ahead.
Guarding your heart is the same way. You don't dwell don't sit there and lay in your pain. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to go through the motions, of course, because that's the only way you're going to heal. But once you're healed, now you know better. You still remember, don't forget about what it felt like, because once you're healed and you're ready to move forward, you want to be able to see them red flags. When you see that again, you're gonna be like,
I hate that term.
You're gonna be like, nope, I've been there. Nope, I remember what that felt like. nope, I remember hearing those lies. You know, I remember this, that, and the other, and I'm not going there. You're not going to allow yourself to fall back into the same hurt. You're going to be wiser.
Well, I got the better word for you, AD. This is what I was going to say. That was a great segue. Strongholds. The purpose of guarding your heart is to prevent you from having strongholds that will stop you from moving forward in life. It will stop you from growing. It will stop you from maturing. It will stop you from loving. It will stop you from caring about people. Strongholds are anything that grabs a hold of your heart that you can't let go of.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while for you to get over heartbreak when you open up your heart. And like you said, Randy, you feel like I voluntarily gave you my heart to break it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I voluntarily opened myself up, and I asked for this because I should have just kept a wall up and didn't allow you to get that close.
Right.
Strongholds are not always the devil or negative things. Strongholds could be, I just decide I don't want to be by myself. So I settle. I just take whatever I can get when I can get it. Even though it ain't good for me, even though it's going to make me worse after this, it's something that I can have though. So I'm going to get it because I can have it.
Mm. And you still gonna struggle when you do that. Anytime you settle for something, that means that it wasn't for you. And it's not always a bad thing. If it's not, it is okay to let go or walk away from what's not for you. That, like I said, don't lose out on your blessing by trying to force a hold on someone else's blessing. You know, it doesn't mean like, okay, two people try to date, it don't work out. It doesn't mean that either one of the people was bad people or they treated each other bad or whatever like that. It's just they don't mesh. They don't, they're not meant to be together. So it's okay to say, you know what, on a mutual note, we tried. I don't think this is for us. We're not supposed to be together. Let y'all go your separate ways, and you go and heal, do what you got to do, and open yourself up for your blessing, the person that fits your puzzle, and let that person go find their puzzle piece.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I you know what? Yeah, I agree with that, but I think I don't want us to get too far down the road, and we ain't stop at the gas station.
What?
And what I mean about that, because it's what we saying is all good. Because I agree with everything y'all saying, but relationship is far down the road when it comes to healing. I think the biggest blessing that you can have is when you get revelation about yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yep.
That in my personal, for me, because we think about relationship, people talking about, oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. No, inside me is a blessing. I got to discover it. Because you can have, that saying when you say you can have two good people and they're not good for each other.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that it's because we skip steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do a lot of step skipping. Just like my mama. That's my mama, y'all. That's my mama.
Hey, Killmonger voice.
Like, right. She said you have to be willing to allow healing from a broken heart. It took me years of rolling around in my listen to this. It took me years of rolling around in heartbreak just to say I am ready to move on and heal.
It's a choice.
It's an absolute choice. And that's why I was saying that I don't want to get too far down the road, because what happened is that, and I use this example a lot because this is, the best way it came to me in a dream, and that's how God gave it to me. And he gave me an example of, and I know, because me and Mac, we talk all the time, and it's about the spaceship. When a spaceship goes into the atmosphere, people don't understand that whole big, huge shuttle when it gets to where it needs to go, it is a small compartmental department. And what happened during the process is that people want to get to that little compartment to where we say what, making it or having it or doing that. But they forgot about all the other atmospheres they got to go through before they get to that.
Yep.
You know, so if you said it yourself about the choice, this is the biggest thing that we have to, you know, God gave us one thing that he didn't give animals. He don't give angels. That's free will. He give us free will. Now, before everybody jump up in all the excitement because y'all on the edge of your seats, woo, we got free will. We come with free will. It's a two-part equation that you can choose whatever road you want to, but you can't choose the condition of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to be able to do that, like you said, Fifi, and like I said, when my mother just said, years of rolling around in heartbreak. Imagine how many years we roll around in pain and heartbreak and anguish, while the people that caused that or had a hand in that are trucking along.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the people are dead. Some people ain't giving a second thought. And when healing means more than anything is that some people always say the forgiving, man, you forgive other people, that forgiveness is for you. Yeah, that's a good point. That's absolutely true. But it's somebody else you need to be forgiven. And that's yourself.
Yes.
We forget ourselves because you know why? In that big equation, we forgot that we made a choice. That's why, I remember telling, when we talked about before, I'm like, man, I'm not about to badmouth none of my exes because nobody put a gun to my head to make me pick them.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did is what they did. And guess what? That's something they got to deal with. But I also got to deal with the things I did.
Yep.
And like I said, when I realized I'm like, man, I'm filthy, that I was filthy rags, I had to get myself together. Things that normally were hard for me started to become easier because I was really doing some real healing. And still am. Being very guarded. Even in, even in me and Kyra dating, the biggest thing that I said over and over again, I said, we got to take this slow. Because we got to get healed for ourselves, not each other. Right. We got to get healed for ourselves. You got to get healed for you, and I got to get healed for me. Mm-hmm. We got to let this process play out. The problem is that so many of us has never done this process before. So when we start to see things we ain't never seen before, like, oh man, I'm starting to see some of her attitude. She's starting to see some of my attitude.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That's when we found out who we are, who we're with, what we're willing to deal with. Yep. And even when we get to the point of like, in a deep relationship and or marriage, like, okay, I married you. I am willing to deal with this because this is what I signed up for. Mm-hmm. And that part, that is marriage. That's like, hey, I know you do whatever, but I am willing to walk this step with you because that's what we both agreed to together. And or like, hey, you know what? Now that we're together for a couple years and this is who I see you becoming, this is who I'm becoming, I don't think this is gonna work out.
It's is critical. We have to start treating our lives and our heart critically. I know that's where I was at with mine. And what happened is that it's just point blank period. Man, I love this topic. Because we run the danger of doing things repetitively, and expecting different results, especially in relationships.
Yep.
We expect, oh, I met this girl. The only thing that's changing is the players. But the rules and how we operate are staying the exact same. There's something wrong with that. And I've said this to myself. When you have an equation and everything is changing except for the denominator, and you the denominator, you the problem.
Yeah.
You're a good portion of that problem. You're at least 50% of the problem. And you have to get to the point where you have to start doing some deep diving in yourself. I know Fifi said this long ago. She is the one who really had us saying we want to do this healing, and we knew we wanted to do healing since the beginning of the year. We've been doing this, and what we realized in all of this that we were talking about, each one of us then got on here and had these revelation moments. Actually, every episode I'm having a revelation moment.
Same.
And what the biggest revelation is that we are the issue.
Yep.
I made issue 2 words. Issue.
Yeah, I thought you went to college.
Yep. I know, right? All that. Thank you. But, we the issue. And that's not a bad thing. People, it's not a bad thing for us to recognize we are the issue. Our society has spent so much time making us say, let's cancel people that want to tell the truth because we're not comfortable with the truth, because that means we got to change. Yep.
Ooh,
that's what cancel culture is. That's what cancel culture is. The truth. Say that one more time.
Does the truth hurt?
And it's the only pain that people don't want to have. They don't mind having heartbreak.
Misery.
They don't have any other thing, but they don't want the pain of the truth.
Which is the thing that's going to set you free.
Yep. But Fifi, say that again one more time, Fifi. What's going to happen with the truth?
It's going to set you free.
And people are afraid of freedom.
Yes, man. Yep.
Because freedom is different. It's like Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they was slaves.
Yes.
Wow.
Some people don't think they slaves. They think this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to get with a guy. He break your heart. You give him a kid. He go his way. They think that's normal. You got guys. Yeah. Get a girl. Mess around. Sleep with her a bit. Until it wear off and you see something new. You go with that. Leave her be. Repeat the process. People do this. People do it all the time. People go from job to job saying everybody else the problem, but it's one big problem.
Don't even go there. That's a whole other topic. Don't go there.
That's church too.
You got 12 jobs in 12 months.
Don't go there.
You, my friend, are the problem.
Do not. Listen, we talk about
help them, Lord. Help them, Jesus. Help them.
Last another hour.
It's crazy. You have people that really think everybody else is the problem because it's easier to find scapegoat than to take accountability and escape yourself.
Yep.
That's it. You gonna get to escape, and it takes the work, like you just said. Who just said that in here? Somebody just said that. Oh man, I gotta pull you up. Is it you, Charles? Yeah, there it is, right there, in front of my face, right here. Say people don't want to do the work. At first, it's painful, but over time, you'll see the benefits. You know what? I'll go even a step further. At first, it's painful, but over time, you'll see the benefits. I can tell people this. You probably won't see the benefits. You want to know why? When you see benefits, it's like with a job, right? After you get your, 90 days, wherever you're in, you get benefits. You get all this other stuff. You ever had benefits? You go to the doctor, you still got to pay a copay, you got to meet a deductible, and you're like, what's the point of these benefits if I got to pay this? Right? Just being honest. Anybody ever been there with that?
Yep. It's a
Until-
cost. It's not free.
Woo! Woo! What'd you say?
Till you see that real
Till you
bill.
see the real bill. You realize your deductible, you may have to pay $5,000, but that procedure costs $20,000 and $30,000. That's what I mean by when he said you'll see benefits over time. No, you won't see the benefits. It's because it's not the benefit that you have designed in your own eye.
That part.
People, it's a process. It is a stream process. If you had years of making bad decisions, picking bad women, picking bad men, having sex with multiple people and all this different stuff, you're not going to be healed. You're not going to be magically to the point of, oh, everything's gone overnight. If you're 400 pounds and it took you 25 years to be 400 pounds, it's going to take you time to shed the weight. And you got to be dedicated to the process.
And you got to be patient.
We said you got to be patient.
And you know the crazy thing about patience, like I said, I said it before, the devil used patience. Why can't we? The devil used patience. So.
And you know he used patience, because what he say that the devil's like a roaring lion.
Roaring lion.
Like, oh, okay.
Walking to and fro, seeking whom he can devour.
But when you walk to and fro, it means that you're being patient. That you're biding your time for the right time to attack. I love
no matter how long it takes.
No, woo, man. I'm about to just do this for a second. Woo! Woo!
Y'all nasty.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Y'all nasty.
That's some deep.
Hey, get a room.
That is so deep.
Get a room.
That is so deep. That is like,
Listen, everybody want to blame the devil on stuff. They need to take a note. Take note from the devil.
Yep. He patient. He like, man, I'm gonna take my time, because eventually he is counting on you to give up.
Yeah. And you know what? And you know what? Even just thinking about it, like I would just tell you how the thing that happened with, like, me and my wife, right? It could have been a situation where I could have, you know what? My weakness is the strip club, or looking at other women, or like lust to a different elevation. And I could have left my house like, you know what? I'm going to the strip club and done something I regret. You know what I mean? Because it's like, he's like, oh, okay, you like this, you like that, and strike it at the perfect time. Or, I'll put this person right here at the perfect time, so I know, like, hey, all space and opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm putting these on here that my mom just said, just in case a lot of y'all didn't see it. And it's basically what we was all been saying. But look what it says. It says, you have to begin to love yourself again. Stop condemning yourself for a loss beyond your control.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Man, that needs a standing ovation.
Right. Your loss beyond your control. So I thought about as soon as I just read that, I thought about what Mac said when we both were our fathers. What they did was beyond our control.
And even I'm sorry, go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
No, that's all I have to say. It was beyond our control.
And you know what? We thought we could control it.
I
thought I did things. I'm like, you know what? Let me try. I try to be different people to try to be in my father's life. Like, you know what? If I'm a schoolboy, I hang in the streets or do whatever, I'm like, what make him love me? And I think no matter what, he wouldn't have did it.
And what made it amazing to me, I remember when he was telling me about this. And I know he got mad at me. I know Mac was mad at me because I knew what myself was like. When
Tell that story. Tell that story.
And I remember telling him about, what I'm saying, with his father, and saying that, you're going to have to bridge the gap. In other words, and I'm paraphrasing. I know he didn't like that at all.
Nope.
He didn't like that whatsoever.
Nope.
I remember when people were telling me that in the beginning, talking about, Randy, you got to break that yoke with your father. I'm like, man, I ain't breaking nothing. Why I got to break something that he did?
I ain't do nothing.
I didn't say I didn't have no father. He said he ain't got no son. Why I got to go back and be a bigger person? Why I got to be like this? Man, I'm a teenager, bro. It's a father job. It's a father job to come after the kid. It ain't the kid job to go after the father. And I remember uncles was saying that to me. I remember from this point on, I know they were saying it in the right way, because a couple of my uncles had situations with their dad. They like, and all they saw was like, man, if I could take it back. And I understand that now. But I remember I just told them that way, you're going to have to bridge that gap. And I said, and guess what? He still may not act right. But you have to do it for yourself.
Yep.
Because as long as you sit here and think about it, you're going to be like a baby crying on the inside for the rest of your life.
And the crazy thing, when I was telling Randy about it, even prior to that, I'm like, you know what? I got my own family. I want him, beautiful. I got my beautiful wife. I got 2 beautiful kids. I'm like, why am I still feeling this hate? Why am I still feeling this hurt? Like, I take care of my kids. So it's like, where is this coming from? And until I had that conversation with him, like that real conversation, that's when it went away. I'm like, hey, you know what? And if you want to be involved, this door is still open.
Right here, I'm putting that right up again. You have to love yourself again and stop condemning yourself for a loss beyond your control. It wasn't until, and I know I tell the story all the time, but it's significant to me because it's a critical change in my life. I wasn't ready for that message. Dang. I wasn't ready. But when God saw when I was ready, he brought the right person to tell it to me.
Yeah.
And this is why, to this day, I love my Uncle Dave so much. Because he's not a talker. He's a doer. So one day, right, like a week before I was going to college, the last time I was getting ready to go to church until I was going to come back again, on break and all this other stuff. My Uncle Dave told me he loved me. Gave me a kiss on my forehead. I started laughing when he gave me a kiss on my forehead. I'm like, Dave, don't do that fruit stuff. And then he gave me a huge hug. And we always say bye when he got the car, because that's how much for years my Uncle Dave would drive me back and forth to church. Even when his family didn't go, he made sure he still picked me up and did that. Even when I was driving, which I found out when he told me in confidence that he said that he loved that time with us. So he said, you ain't got to drive. Why don't you just come ride with me? I love that time we had with each other. Because we close. So he told me after he did that, he said, nephew, I love you. You got to break that yoke with your dad. I'm going to talk to you later. That's it. Got out the car and everything else like that. And it wasn't until that time frame when I thought about it. It didn't come across as preachy. And like you said, I was just ready for the message. And then that's when I broke the yoke with my dad. It wasn't until the day that I was about to leave out for college. I was leaving out. I was getting ready to drive up there. He was getting ready to go. And I remember my mom said, you going to say bye to your dad? And for the first time, I wasn't with her. Why I got to say bye to this nigga? And I went to the stairs. He was coming in. And it was two different. The atmosphere that normally was between us dissipated. He's like, you out of here, old man? Like, yeah, I'm out of here, Dad. And before I knew it, we both was boo-hooing like babies. What makes it bad, but at the same time good, is that sometimes we can wait when it seems like so long to get the result that we always wanted. Or to get the healing that we always wanted. But it's not delayed. It's right on time.
Say that again. Yeah.
It's never delayed. It's right on time. Mac needed that, and at that time frame when he went to do it, he was able to get released from it because he needed to love himself again. Any man out here that got a father, daughter, anything. This is why fathers are so critical to families. This is why mothers are so critical to families, because you need both.
Yes.
And when one is missing, it's a part of you that don't love yourself. You ain't getting it. When it goes unresolved, because keep in mind, it takes a lot of energy to hate somebody. You're going out your daily life, but as soon as you hear somebody's name, as soon as you get a feeling about them, your whole atmosphere changes. That's a powerful thing.
Yes, like bro, cuz it give me times where I'm happy. You see that I'll be happy. Hey, your dad coming, or my whole attitude changed. Or like your dad coming, he was just saying, I don't want to hear about this nigga.
Yep.
Like my whole demeanor changed.
I saw the biggest one I saw with you, and I ain't trying to put the
go ahead. You good?
Is we was at his wedding. Father was beyond late, missed everything. And I remember Matt, he was taking pictures, but as soon as he stopped taking pictures, he turned around and walked off by himself. All that John did was remind me, saying with stuff, with my dad. I'm like, ugh.
You know what? Was that it? Because I thought nobody never saw that.
I saw everything. I love you too much. I see everything. He walked off by himself, and I remember because I could tell. I'm like, that man right now not only is fighting back tears, but he's fighting back anger because he's like, it's almost like I'm telling you, I'm just gonna speak. Can I speak for every guy out here that ever had a dad issue or nothing like that? When you give your dad the openness, this stronger than a woman. This stronger for a woman, the guy when you all you want is your dad to be in your life. You give him access because you might have one good conversation, but just one. You're like, okay, maybe it's potential. It's like, I know you did all these things before, but I know you're gonna do it. Okay, maybe I'm gonna geek myself up and do it, and then you do it, and he let you down again. You feel stupid. You feel humiliated. You like, God, and you just, I know it. I knew it. Something told me in the back of my mind, you wasn't going to do it. And I should have trusted. I should have trusted. Man, I hate you. You get to that, you're like, man, I hate you, man. Because why am I loving you? Why am I struggling to love you? And you really don't care about me.
I didn't want to invite him. I didn't want to invite him. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do the right thing, and I told Crystal this, and I'm just looking over. I'm like, all right, he should be here. He should be here. And like when I didn't see him, I'm like, man, like, wow, like
it's deep.
And like it was like me being a 10-year-old kid again, dog.
Yep. It brings back everything.
I was like, wow. And I had to, and so at the same time when that happened, you know what's going on at the wedding, and then I got to make sure my wife happy. Then I'm like, I got to deal with this in the back of my head. So I'm like, let me just leave.
Yep, it's crazy.
I'm surprised you caught that.
Yep.
I'm surprised you did, because I never said it. I never said that to anybody.
Anybody with that had that much like that, pain about it. Like Charles, I know Charles know too, man. Appreciate you watching, bro. Yeah, it's the worst type of disappointment. There is no disappointment worse than that until you become a father yourself, and then maybe your kid might disappoint you and stuff like that. And this ain't no disrespect to wives and things of that nature, but fathers, when you're a man, it's hard for us to handle emotion. This the one weak spot with men until we get older and we understand and develop and mature in emotions. And it takes men a long time to develop emotionally. It's deep. And it ain't because they don't want to. They have to learn. Men have to learn. They have to. Men are just. It's almost like Neanderthal when it comes to emotions, because men are been taught forever. Every man, not just black, for the most part. Like, step up, do what you got to do. Don't you whine about it. Don't you cry about it. Do what you got to do. Now, I don't know what's wrong with these guys this generation. I ain't gonna lie. It is a difference. They're really weird. And they are, though. They're really weird. They want the role of a woman. They want to be the insecure. They want to be everything else. People talking about, oh, we're developing, the healing factor. No, y'all ain't. Y'all getting a whole bunch of new hurts.
It's different, bro.
It's different. They don't. Y'all not taught to stick it out. See, we were told to stick it out because we wanted us to be stronger. They taught now, and they pacify you, which means they get it two ways the wrong way. You're pacifying the young guys so they never develop into the man they should be becoming. And then men who are developing to become providers and protectors, the part about them is that that's what they all develop, providers, protectors, but it's over one item, which they don't understand that when you're a provider and protector, it's over all things that God tell you to be with. That means you're protecting over the emotions of your family, the spirituality of your family, financial, all it's everything. Men have just done it for so long, financial, and from violence and protection. Like, ain't nobody coming to the house doing on my family, and my family eating. A lot of men, we forgot about that first heartbreak that your son get, first heartbreak that your daughter get, the changes that go on in your wife's life. Men don't like dealing with it because it's a vulnerability. Hint, hint, word, like Fifi said. It's a vulnerability that men have to give up in order to get what they want.
Wow.
Men just really want, really, and just a total, man, I could talk about this all night, man. This conversation is really good. Fifi said something that is still sticking in my head. And I know we said a lot, but I guess I don't know why it's resonating with me tonight. Is that it's a choice. You think we all say, like, oh, we know that already. No, it's a choice. And what I mean by a choice, that men and women really want the exact same thing.
Yep.
We really do. We really want the same thing. We just have a weird, butt backwards way of thinking that we gonna get it. And we think that because the other person wanted to get it, want to go another route to get it, that they wrong. And they think because we going another route to get it, that, you know what I'm saying, they wrong. Men, and I'm really at the knees and grit of it, and because, man, I know that you could testify this because me and you talk about this all the time. And I've seen it more and more with men now. Men just want to be happy. We just are trying to figure out how to get it. Women just want to be happy. They're just trying to figure out how to get it. Men just want, as a man, knowing my family is good. They ain't even got to be underneath me. They could just be around in the house, but if I know they good and I know that they nearby, they know that they close, it gives me a deep satisfaction knowing, hey, my family all right. My daughter here, but she's in her room, but I know she's there. So if I open the door, go in her room and mess with her and pick with her, that is going to give me deep satisfaction. We could go on expensive vacations. We could do all those things. But at the end of the day, those are the things that you don't care about, because after the vacation, you still got to come back to reality. And what happened with men, when it comes to the woman, and this about to blow some people's mind. Men don't want women's obedience.
Well, that's
We
a
want you to
lie.
listen.
No, that's a lie. I want
We
all
want,
that. I'm just talking.
we want you to listen.
There's a difference.
No, he's not crazy. We
No,
want you to listen.
I know.
It's so important for men that women listen. Like, we want y'all to listen to us. The reason why we want y'all to listen is because, especially when we love you so much, just like y'all love us so much, we don't want nobody to hurt you. So when we say that chick you dealing with is jealous of you, take heed to us, because we ain't saying because we think they taking more time from you. We saying it because we love you and we know this person does not, because we can see they hitting the agenda. Just like women, when your woman come up to you and say, baby, be careful of that dude, be careful of that woman, something ain't right with that, and you get mad because you think they trying to check you or play mom and dad to you. People that love you the most pay attention to you the most, even some things and habits that you don't understand. A great friend will keep you away from all evil, even if the evil is you.
Wow.
They will make sure that they pay attention to you. Fifi, you know, you'll see it. It's just some things you know as a friend. You'll say, look, no, don't do it. And so a man just want, like you said, one man just want respect, because what listening means you respect me. That's deep. When your woman listens to you, that means she respects you.
Sir.
She values you. Trust me. Because when a woman trusts a man, she might grit and bite her teeth on some things, but she said, I trust him. I know he ain't leading me astray.
One of the best shows in the world.
Bro. And then that's when a man, but see, this is the part what men got to do. You got to be vulnerable with your woman. If you ain't vulnerable with your woman, you'll never get to that point of true intimacy and ever have the relationship that you ever want. You got to be vulnerable. You can't get to intimacy without being vulnerable. It's impossible. It's just like we said, it's like giving that woman access to your heart and hoping that she don't break it.
Yep.
That's why you need to guard your heart and make better decisions and take your time. That's why won't. Me and her, we did something I said, and I said this all the time. At first, she was gritting on it. She was gritting me on it. Not hard. I'm just messing with you, but she was gritting me on it. But I told her, I said, man, if we want something different, we got to do something different. If we want better, we got to do better. Period.
Y'all been doing a great job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
And that's
just for watching and seeing it, man. I am so proud of you too.
Yeah.
And it's the process that people don't want up. And I would tell people the process out there when you date, you got to remove, even if you're in a marriage, because it never stops. The dating never stops. See, man, goodness, dang, dating never stops, even when you're married. People just think dating is we going out. No, dating. The word date indicates the next day.
Yep.
Dating means every day you are showing the same love, the respect, the vulnerability.
Yep.
That's what dating is. Dating is a continual action that we all must do.
Yep.
No matter how old you are, no matter if you're 20 married or you're 60 and 90 and married, you got to keep dating. You got to keep dating. And the problem with that is that most people, they get comfortable. Is comfort a problem? Yeah, that's debatable. The problem is that you get neglectful.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
You get neglectful. You start taking things for granted. You stop cherishing those things. You get confused because things are changing. people get confused. Remember, I was telling babe that you got 3 acts in life. You got if you ever been to a play, and I know Fifi, Matt, we done our share of plays, especially in church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First act is where all the action happens. Everybody knows this. You go to play, that's where all the action happens. The intensity, everything, the fun. Oh my goodness! Oh, we're all over the place. We're all over the place. Oh my goodness! Oh my God! What's going to happen next? Right? But it's the truth. It's the first part. That's why when people first meet each other, everybody, they're awesome. Oh, this is the best person I ever been with. Like you said that 83 times already. Because I'm guilty of that. Like you said it already. Man, this woman, she different. That's my word. Man, she different. But then you get to the other place. This is the place where most of the people break up. And it's the intermission. Because it's different. You start transitioning from a strong, luxurious sexual attraction, and you're transitioning into a different, deeper level. You're going into intimacy. There you go. You're starting to know each other more now. So it just ain't sex. So some people get to this point like, oh man, we ain't having sex as much. What's going on? That's not the problem. It's not a problem. Don't get it confused. Y'all getting to a deeper level of intimacy. And this where most people break up. They break up in the intimate period because they don't know what's going on. And they're like, man, I don't know what's going on. We just ain't doing this. We ain't doing that. People, just like Miss Hill says, change is inevitable.
Yep.
You're going to change for the better. Especially when you're doing it the way you're supposed to be doing, you're going to change for the better. And then you get to the best part, right? The part that everybody, we all like, oh man, I wish I was like that. Yeah. But it come with a hell of a lot of work. Yeah. And that's the last act. And it's all depth. Woo! It's all depth. It's you in California, I'm in Maine. I know something ain't right. I'm calling you. What's going on? Yeah. You didn't text me. See, we got so electronic, like we have to. That's not a relationship when I got to text you every time to let you know how I feel.
Right.
Relationship is when you can feel it. It's spiritual. It's that soul tie. Something ain't right. Let me call them. Something ain't right. You paying attention. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be reminded that that person doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to step on eggshells because you know, yeah, he mad right now. I'll wait for him to cool down. Like, you done, baby? All right. You were wrong. I ain't want to tell you that in front of people. And you ain't going to have to say that. Like, baby, you know you was wrong. Mm-hmm. I know you know how to correct it. I love you. See, those are the things that come with depth. And the problem is that we won't microwave it. And you can't microwave it. Nope. There's no way you can get to that in a good marriage, in good relationships, in good friendships, in every relationship, even and in the most important relationship with God.
That part.
You're not going to get there overnight. And just to get even a little deeper, and then I'm done. Let y'all say what y'all want to say, because I know we good and people still contacting, and we getting more and more viewership because it's a great topic. Your relationship with God is a clear indicator of how just about every other relationship is going in your life.
Yes.
That's the mic drop right there. That's the period.
Yep.
It's a clear indication. If you're sometimey with God, you're going to be sometimey with everyone else. If you, I'll talk to you this way, you know, when I get opportunity, if you're that way with God, you're going to be like that with people. I want to use him as an example because, one, I love him, and he's an amazing guy. I've seen a lot of dedicated people, but nobody is more dedicated than him. My brother, Marcel Copeland, he's a dedicated individual. When he gives his word, it's his word. He don't break it for nobody. A lot of people won't understand a lot of things about him. He's dedicated himself to a lot of things, and he sees them all the way through because he got value over his word. So we may not see him a lot because he's working. But when you're a friend, and there's some deep part, when you are a friend, thank God for a lot of inventions that we got. You make a way. Like it don't go a time frame too long that I won't call him, that I won't see him. And he'll say something like, hey, bro, I know I was trying to be there, but I'm like, man, you ain't got to explain nothing to me, bro. I love you. You are my friend. I know what you're doing. And then you got them friends, you know they full of that SHIT.
Yes.
But we ain't talking about that. We talk about the friends that you know doing the right thing. Or not so much the right thing, but when they being truthful and honest about why they not there, not this and that. So it's dedication. You got to be dedicated to this. You got to be dedicated to a lot of things in your life, but none more so than guarding your heart. You got to guard this thing. I speak for everybody on here. I know I do, and they'll explain it to you such way. Man, pains from the opposite sex. And like I said, I know you know too, darling.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. I've had my share.
It's horrible when you give your all to somebody and they take it. Somebody ain't gonna even catch that. they take it. When you give your all and someone else is giving their all, it's never taken. It's renewed.
Yes, it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
It's recycled.
It's
recycled.
It's recycled. It's renewable energy. You never feel emptied out.
Right.
If you are with somebody and you give your all and all they do is take it, man, ain't nothing worse than that. You praying. They just trying to receive prayers.
Right.
You protecting. They just hiding behind you. You giving love.
They take it.
And they just take it. It's horrible. I've seen people in relationships like that. And we've even seen people like, you're like, man, dang, your relationship, been in a relationship like that. Like, man, all you doing is this because you think you're doing the right thing because you're standing by your word. For me, marriage was my word. I like, look, we married. I understand biblical numerology. 1 + 1 is 3. Husband, wife, God.
Yeah.
And when it was just me and God, it means a subtraction. So it ain't no 1 - 1. It's 2 - 1.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to those places, it's awful. I know it's heartbreaking because sometimes we beat our head to the same things all the time, doing things the same way, thinking it's going to be a different change. And all I want to say to people out there with that and guarding your hearts, because I know there's some people out there right now thinking like, man, y'all talking about guarding your hearts. What y'all talking about? I didn't guard my heart and I still have my heart broken and things of that nature. And I hear you. I absolutely hear you. And you know, the last thing you want to hear is one of us, somebody that don't know you, telling you, you know, what you need to do. One, we're not telling you. We want to encourage you.
Yes.
We want to tell you that it's people that been there before where you at.
Yes.
And we ain't talking out the side of our neck because we like the sound of our voice and we think that, you know, this is the way it to be. We talking because we've walked that road. And I mean, sometimes shoot, you hit a pothole. You got to go over there and change the tire and get back on there. What I realized is that I got smarter because instead of trying to follow my map, I said, God, I'm about to try yours. And I'm going to tell you what happened. He got me off that road. No potholes. No detours. And even more better, when I pulled over the car, he said, get in the back. And I'm being honest with you. All I'm doing is looking at the sights and trusting him to drive.
Yes.
That's where the change came in for me. But it wasn't until I realized and bust my head enough that I'm like, I keep changing tires. I'm replacing struts. I'm breaking my axle. I'm replacing transmissions. And it ain't even appear to me that maybe, Randy, you got the wrong map. Because it's funny how we think that we looking at the way we're supposed to travel, and we think just because it looks the most apparent to us that that's the way we're supposed to travel. It ain't until we just have all that damage and we see everything that's coming around, we don't realize that we didn't have God in the back seat for a long time. And like you said, when I got in the back seat, not even shotgun, got in the back seat. I got in the back seat and looked out the window and said, man, this is what I've been missing in life. And as I'm looking out the window, guess what I'm seeing, y'all? Woo, dang. I can't believe that was hurting me.
Right.
Wow.
Whoa. That was holding me back. Man, I'm feeling good. I'm seeing my healing.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's what he said he wants you to pay attention. Like, man, I want you to see the healing. I want you to keep, as long as you're in the driver's seat, you're always going to be looking at everything
Rear
wrong.
view mirror.
Man, don't be trying to finish my thoughts.
Well, hey, I was thinking
You're
the
so
same
funny. You're so
thing.
talking about. You're so
I
crazy.
swear to God.
That's how you gonna do. You're gonna be paying attention. But that's a good point you just said. You look in the mirror. So what you're doing? All you're doing is looking at everything that was wrong. You never get it out of you. You're never doing it. And God, what God is doing, he driving. Man, God got tunnel vision, man. He like, we good. God don't ever check the rear view. Because it ain't nothing there no more.
Right.
Ain't no U-Haul behind you. Ain't no trailer. You got no luggage. Because everything in God is new. No clothes, no old shoes, no nothing. Like, man, all of that's gone. Let's go. We traveling. We gone.
Most importantly, now you sitting in the back seat, you can't look in the rear view no more.
There you go. Because why? You so incredibly enamored by seeing how you being healed.
Yep.
All you doing is looking and seeing how you getting healed. Like,
And
man, I'm
enjoying
getting
the
healed.
ride.
And you're enjoying the ride. That's it. Woof. Looking at the beauty of life. Because people say some stupid stuff. Be careful what y'all allow yourself to entertain in y'all thoughts when people say silly stuff. Oh man, life's a be and then you die. No, for you, it might be. Right. No, it ain't. Life ain't gonna be a be for me. I don't get a piece. I don't wait to get a piece of my heaven when I die. That's not what the word says. Right. I'm getting healing now. I'm getting success now. The problem is that we have to. What? Oh man, where it gotta go? Where that say? I love it. I just gotta get it back again, y'all. And we, like I said, I was like, look, what we gotta do? Got to begin to love yourself again. Stop condemning yourself for loss beyond your control. And when you sit there in that driver's seat and you're looking in the rear view, when you roll down the window and you look behind you and all you see is the pain, and you be like, hey, why are they never going nowhere? It's because you never got your mind off of it. You sitting there thinking that you're in control, but you never got healed from it. And you're not going to get healed as long as you keep your hand on that steering wheel, because you want to know why? You have no intentions of letting it go when you're in control.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said what I said. God said, back seat, let me do it. You look and everything else. Because now, when you are see, the problem is that the driver of the car, me being an awesome driver that I am, especially on the road and everything else, no, they already know. So they know I'm an awesome driver. Man, I showed my cousin how to drive, man. Don't talk about me, man. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I don't do that every time. No, she just a trick. I don't know what it is. She lying. But I'm telling you, when you, as a driver, you're the most important person in that car, because you have everybody's lives in your hand behind the wheel. That's why you ever been in a car with somebody that's a speed demon that's always driving on somebody, but you can't go to sleep. You can't go to sleep. You ever been in a car with somebody like that? It's horrible. You can't get not 1 ounce of rest, especially on a long road trip. Like, whoa, what's going on? What was that? You just jerked.
You got to stay awake the whole time.
Hold on. Like, you're going to take your time a little bit, right? You're going to take time a little bit, right? It's the most important. It's the most important part, the person in the car, because it does as you do. Some people don't understand that. And the reason why is because you have to be accountable for everything. As much as we don't want to say it, you're accountable for what everybody else doing the road too.
Mm-hmm. You have to watch.
If you tailgating people, you could avoid that accident by giving them the space. If you see somebody driving stupid, you got to let them go. Somebody cut you off, man, let them have. They want it that much, let it go. How many seconds are in a day? I heard this excellent example. So, but anyway, don't let quick 2-second, 3-second decisions cost you the rest of your life. If you don't want that responsibility, my suggestion is to get in the back seat and let God have control of it. That's how I guard my heart. I let the best bodyguard in the world let the best bodyguard in the world have access to it.
Let God be that protective outer shell.
And he check everybody. Nobody can even get past the door to my heart if he don't see fit.
Right. Sometimes we can fail. Sometimes we can fail to protect our own hearts.
True, I fail all the time at doing it.
Yeah. But if God is that, if you got God is that protective outer shell, kind of like a jawbreaker, ain't nothing getting through that one.
Ain't nothing getting past God.
Nothing getting past God. And God gonna make sure they ain't getting past you.
And everybody, and it's crazy. Like, I'm glad we touched on this topic, and we didn't even go through like the whole video, just like that little, like 10-minute portion that opened up to almost over 2 hours of discussion. This is great. Everybody, y'all got anything else y'all want to touch on before we close?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. That was right on point. I got to go through this whole episode. It's stuff that I still, putting in my phone that y'all had said, but I got this one of them episodes I got to rewatch again just to get some key points. Like when you watch something over and over again and you see something different and you hear something different each time, man, y'all was dropping some gems. So I got to go back and put some stuff down. Mac and Kyra came this bad boy ready to pass this mud like the SAT, didn't it?
Okay.
I'm telling you, it got deep. I was like, oh man. Outstanding conversation. Miss Hills, we thank you for that topic. Outstanding topic.
Great topic. It's a very great topic. I'm glad to be a part of it today. Thank you.
Yes, we're so happy to have you.
We definitely got to have you back.
I want to thank our special guest, our very, very special guest, Miss Kyra. Thank you for being a part of the show today. We thank you for your insight, your conversation.
Absolutely.
We definitely appreciate you just joining us and share with us your thoughts and experiences, and hopefully it helps somebody else in this situation. So we really appreciate you being on the show. And we thank you for messing up Randy's technical experience, because uncomfortable. I love seeing him struggle. I saw you in a nice, big, black, comfortable leather chair. And he was struggling in the living room.
You ain't gotta worry. His throne is being taken by a queen.
We can't talk about Fifi now. So, yeah, but no.
Hey, and you know what's funny? Every time, God willing, I knew it. Every time we have a technical problem, it's because we have a deep, important topic.
Yes.
We have to share. And I'm telling y'all, man, a lot of y'all.
That interference be real strong.
It will be real strong, stronger than any other day. If we was talking about some nonsense, because we, I'm telling you, and I've just peeped it out, and it happened like that. But I'm telling you, it has been outstanding. that each one of these shows, we didn't have some technical issues that go on with it. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, what God wants to be fed and what he wants to eat is gonna be there. It's gonna be right there on the plate for us because we hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
We hungry. That's right. The devil is a liar. And the devil ain't invited to this party. He ain't got an invite. He ain't even invited to the table. And I'm telling you, the food that we is getting every single time we get out here, I'm telling you, come there. Everybody just come to the table, man. We eating. We eating.
Eating good.
We eating good. I'm telling you, it's been awesome. Miss Hills, I appreciate you so much. So, Graf, we missed you last week too. We're grateful that you're back safe and sound. Mr. Reese, what can I say about you, man? Mr. Reese been on this thing. He about to be like Dr. Phil in a minute. And
I got the head of the match too.
It's been awesome. And again, I appreciate you, darling, for coming on here. I'm telling you, spitting some outstanding everything from the heart. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you, fam.
Why is she looking at you like that?
Because he's fine, okay?
Let's look at him like he all dreamy and
yeah, I want to give it. You're so funny. Hey, Cole. Give a shout out to Cole. Miss Kathy. Miss Kathy, I want to say something in particular. I've got another gift for you, Miss Kathy. You do nothing but support. Nothing but support. I appreciate you so much. Love you, Miss Kathy.
It was good seeing Miss Kathy today.
We love you.
Charles, man. Love you, bro. Sale, speak him up. There you go. Appreciate you. My cousin Quila.
What up, sis?
Hey,
Mama. I love you, Mama.
Hey, Miss D.
Auntie.
And everybody else, we appreciate y'all so much. All because y'all had some comments tonight. We appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yes. And next week, right back to it. We are pushing this healing. Yes. We are pushing it, y'all. Y'all, if you are missing it, go back, look over those X episodes. I'm telling you. I am telling you. I ain't got to be the only one. The other two hosts will tell you too. It is some nuggets, and God is coming through on this bad boy. And I'm telling you, it is being amazing. And then, oh man,
hey Nicole,
man, don't give Nicole everything that she wants. What's up, Cole? What up, Cola? She is so retarded. But next week, next episode, stay tuned for it. We got a method to our madness. I know y'all still coming in watching. Dang, that's good, man. Share, like, subscribe, Twitter. YouTube, Facebook, okay, all of them. Unfiltered with Mr. Johnson, and man, that's really about it. That's all I got. I let Miss Hills. This is the topic you brought today. So why don't you go ahead and close us out today?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like they said, please comment, like, share, subscribe. If you know this can help somebody, just send it over. Whether you think they're going to listen to it or not, just send it, share it. And then if this helped you, please reach out to us, comment. We want to hear from you. Yes. We are not just talking to ourselves. We talking to y'all. We want y'all to hear from y'all. We want to hear, even if y'all got some topics y'all want us to talk about, hit us up. But we want to continue this healing. So we about to pray and end it out on a prayer.
Yes.
God, we need you. We need you to help us in our healing. We need you to help us, God, guard our heart. We need you to help us to stop being open to the things that are hindering us, that's hurting us, that's stopping us from moving forward, from growing, from maturing. Even those things that are deceiving us and blinding us from seeing our true selves. Help us to not be afraid to identify those areas that are weak in our life. Those areas that we need to allow you to strengthen, allow you to clean up, that filth, all of the things that are in our life, from the past traumas, from the abuse, from the lies, the deception, the things that has happened to us that we haven't dealt with, God. I pray right now that you would help us to not be afraid to begin the healing journey. If we're already on the journey, God, help us not to be weary in the journey. Help us to be renewed in our strength so that we'll continue to the end. We just thank you, God, for all that you're doing, all that you are showing us, all that you are teaching us, God. Help us to understand that you are important and that you are the main source of everything that we have. So our relationship with you is the main priority. Once we get that together, everything else will fall in place. God, thank you for loving us, for sparing our lives, for giving us grace and mercy. Continue to cover us and protect us and help us to find you, love you, and develop this relationship with you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Y'all, nothing else more be said. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next week from Unfiltered.